Hey everybody, it's 13th Wolfman. You know what today is? Today is day 5 of the 31 days of Halloween. Ooh. Yeah, so all kidding aside, this is going great. I'm having a fun time doing the 31 days. I do it every year, but every year it's just as fun. And there's a ton of people doing this too. So if you're curious on who's doing it, if you might have missed out on someone, wait till the very end of this video. There'll be a list at the end, so you could watch some people if you might have missed out on them, like Mr. Bones or the Horror Man and others. So yeah, check it out. So let's get on with day 5. So as you all know, that there are songs, there are albums, and there are movies and other stuff that just attaches itself to your DNA. You know, it makes it a part of you, and you're not sure why you like that song, that album, or that movie, or whatever it is, and it just is. Well, number 5 on my list is that movie for me, and that is The Crow. Now, as great as this movie is, this is one of those movies that I get really emotional when watching this movie because of what happened with Brandon Lee. You know, we missed out on a great talent. I watch this movie and I think, oh my God, it's such a tragic story, such a tragic event happened, and we lost out. Honestly, it's like he made something like 4 or 5 movies before his death. And I didn't really pay attention to those movies. And then I remember where I was when I heard that he was killed on the set. I was skiing actually that day, and just going, okay, I now need to see this movie. I need to see the movie that killed the legacy of the Lee family. You know, because it's Bruce Lee's son. And when I saw the movie, it just, like I said, it just attached itself to my DNA. It had the right sound for the music. It had the right feeling for the look. And that's another thing about this movie. The look of this movie. I like so at the very beginning when we come in on the city, it has a really strange color palette to it. It doesn't quite look like a normal color palette. It almost looks like a European film stock color palette. Like if you're watching like something like Zombie or anything that's not Argento, basically. Let's put it that way. You know, the night Evelyn came out of the grave. Nightmare City. Just stuff like that. It has this really, not muted, because they've done muted colors in America, and it has a different look to it altogether. But the cements look more green-blue than a gray. It's just got a really odd color palette to it, and it's another thing I love about this movie. There's nothing that I can't say that I don't love about this movie. Like I said, I love the soundtrack. I don't even have the soundtrack, and I should get it. Every time I hear, Big Time, all the songs that are on this album, it's just Ghost Rider by the Rollins Band. It's just a very well put together, well thought out movie. I know that at one point they were going to film Michael Berryman as the Skull Cowboy, and the way I understand it is that was going to leave it into a more more of a fantasy style movie rather than what it turned out to be. And I think that would have been a shame, and I'm glad they didn't go that way. I know that they did record footage, but they just chose not to use it. The Crow. So, if you haven't seen The Crow, the basic premise is Eric Draven and Shelley Webster are celebrating the night before their wedding when 4 thugs, owned by Top Dollar, a.k.a. Michael Wincott, break into their place, and it's a Devil's Night. It's the night before Halloween. and they just do what they can. They just they kill Eric Draven and they rape and murder Shelley Webster. And a crow brings Eric Draven back to life a year later, and he ensues revenge. That's basically the whole thing. It's a revenge movie. But it's such a good revenge movie. I mean, you got some really great characters in here. Grange, played by Tony Todd. Tony Todd is almost unrecognizable in this movie because of the way he looks. You know, I mean, you got Brandon Lee as Eric Draven. You got Michael Wincott. You got Joe Pilato in this movie as Gideon, the pawn shop owner. I mean, it's just Ernie Hudson as the cop. It's a really, really good movie. It's like I said, it's a tragic story of what happened to him. But yeah, this is my number 5, man, and this is what I had to put on the list this year. It's more of a comic book movie than a horror film, but love it just the same. So with that, I mean, I don't really give these ratings. You know, this is just kind of like a 31 Days of Fun for me. So for that, always like, subscribe, share, and comment. If you subscribe, hit the bell. That way you know you'll be getting more information of when I send stuff out. And stay around for the end. Like I said, you'll be seeing a lot of other names. With that, of course, I'm the 13th Wolfman, and, yep, you guessed it, I'm on the prowl.